Hey guys, Matt from Cars and Couches, and today I want to talk to you guys about something that I, for the first time, actually just started thinking of myself. And I kind of want to get your guys' idea and hear your feedback to kind of understand what you guys would do in this situation. So, some background information. For the past 4 weeks, I've been in Atlanta, Georgia, and I have another 4 more weeks to go, and I'm here because of work. At the end of that 4 weeks, I found out that I'm going to end up being in New York City for work. So anyway, here's my story. Around 3 years ago, I got a new job, and it's not the same job that I'm here for, but I ended up getting this job that paid me a little bit more money at the time when I was still young, and I was such a huge car enthusiast that I went out, with only 1 month into my new job, tried to get enough paychecks, walked into a Ford dealership, and ended up buying the Mustang GT Premium that I drive today. I immediately fell in love with it, and I still love this car. I daily drive it. I drive it in the winter. I know some of you guys are going to hate me for that, but I do. I daily drive it in the winter, and I just fell in love with this car. It's something that once I got in it, I don't want to, I can't even think about ever driving another car. And I know I shouldn't think about that, but what's come to my attention is when I bought that car, I did it in the way that I was going to be leasing it for 3 years, but with the opportunity to buy it at the end of the 3 years. Now, why I chose to do it that way is, and how I went about it was stupid, because I did a 3 year lease to buy, and I put like $8,000 or $9,000 down just to get my payment lower, which I'll never do again. I never advise anybody to put a lot of money down when you're buying or leasing a car, because you never get that back if you were to total the car or anything, God forbid. Anyway, so like I said, I bought this car, fell in love with it, got it with a 3 year lease to buy, have low payments, and like I said, the reason why I ended up doing it that way was because I believe I got it when I was like 19 or 20 years. I was 19 or 20 years old at the time that I bought it, and it was a new job. Like I said, I got it after my first like month that I was actually working at my newer, higher paying job at the time, and I didn't really have too much security. So I thought it would have been better for me at that age to do a lease to buy program, because it would have been more expensive if I had to pay even though I could have paid, because the MSRP for my car was 42,000, and if I was to split that with the interest rate for 60 months, then my payment would have actually been higher than if I was to just be paying on the 3 year lease. Because when you're doing that lease, you're paying a certain percentage of the car, and then you pay the rest of it. You pay the residual at the time that your 3rd year lease is up. Anyway, so here's where I'm at now. Like I said, I fell in love with my car, and I couldn't think about ever driving another car. And I'm coming up on my 3 year lease, and it's about to end, I believe, this May, maybe even April. I think it's actually going to be May. My lease is going to end in May, and I have a decision to get rid of this car and start fresh with something new, whether it's new, like, brand new off the lot, or something that's used, certified pre-owned. But here's my dilemma. What I'm scared about is getting rid of a car that I felt so in love with, and not just falling in love with the Ford Mustang GT, but also specifically that one car. It was the first car that I ever bought myself without my parents helping me out, without absolutely nothing. It was my first car ever bought, and I have so many experiences and memories, not just in the Ford Mustang, but the Ford Mustang GT Premium, which is specifically mine, who I named Abigail. She's the love of my life. Anyway, the dilemma comes in where, like I said before, I have 4 more weeks that I'm going to be spending in Atlanta. And at the end of that 4 weeks, I'm going to be moving and spending a lot of time in New York City. And what I know about New York City is a lot of times you don't need cars just because of public transit, and it's so easy to get around from point A to point B. And I know I'm going to be traveling a lot, and thinking, at first I was thinking, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring my Harley, bring it in to New York City, and just use that for transportation, and keep my Mustang in Michigan, so that way whenever I'm traveling back, I can have that car there. But at the same time, I'm thinking, well, should I even do that? Should I even think about keeping that car? Should I give it up and get another car? Should I just give up that car and just keep my motorcycle and do that for as long as need be for whatever my work needs. You know, if my work requires me to stay in New York City for, you know, a year, then maybe keep the Mustang for that time. If it needs me, if I gotta be there for 2 years, then get rid of that car, get a new one. I'm just having the biggest problem with understanding what should I do, knowing that I'm gonna be in New York City and loving my car. And I started thinking, well, you know what? If I get rid of my car that I love so much, I could always buy another one. And it's like kind of like that same thing in a relation. It's kind of that same thing when you're in a relationship. You know, when the people tell you after you get in a breakup and you're like, oh, don't worry, there's many fish in the sea. And you know in hindsight, well, that's not the only thing that you're going to love, because I'm sure a lot of you guys that are watching this right now have had one car that they really, really fell in love with and thought that they wouldn't like another car or want a daily another car. But then they got that other car and then they sit down in it the first time, they start driving it and they realize, you know, it's not that they forget about their first car, and it's not like that they forget about that car that they drove before that'll always be there for them. But I feel like it's one of those things where you will get in that new car and you will become happy with that, and you won't even think about it, the old one, in the sense that it's bothering you that you don't have it. And so kind of what I just want to figure out is, like, what's your guys' idea, not only on what should I do knowing that I'm going to be in New York City? Should I have a car there? Should I not have a car? The other thing I kind of want to know is, what do I do at the end of my 3-year lease? It's a 2016 Mustang GT Premium, and now they have the new models out, which I've been pretty fond of, so that's always another option. I could always just turn in my last one and then get the new Mustang, or, you know, like I said, just not even have a car in general and bring that to New York. And the last thing, and this is the thing I've been mentioning, is just kind of, you know, wanting to know, for all the people that got a car that they fell in love with, especially one that was their first car, the one that they bought by themselves, they paid for everything on it, they've had so many memories and experiences, what would you do? Would you get rid of that car? Have any of you guys ever regretted it, where you guys wish that you guys kept that car in your garage? Because I can't tell you how many stories I've heard of from people that used to have Mustangs back in the day. They used to have Camaros, they used to have Challengers back in the day, the real nice ones. And then every single time you talk to those people that end up buying those cars later in life, they end up saying, yeah, I had a really nice one, it was mint condition. I wish I never sold that one, and I don't want to be that guy. So like I said, the main focus on what I'm trying to figure out is, when you guys had a car that you fell in love with, that was your first ever car, that you had so many experiences. And now for the first time in my own mind, I've realized that I'm actually getting to that point where I'm going to have to make a decision as to whether or not I'm going to be keeping that car, getting rid of a car and not even having a car, or getting rid of the Mustang and then looking for another car. What would you guys do? If you guys could go back in time and change that decision, or even if you guys never went through that and you guys were making the decision, how would you guys act? I really want to know. So guys, I'd love to hear feedback. Please leave comments in the comments section. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to Cars and Couches. And Matt from Cars and Couches, I'll see you another time.